Hello everyone. Let's continue our co-curriculum activity of Persatuan Sains dan Matematik with the topic of revision of time. You're going to do this lesson with me, your teacher, and my name is Amira. I would like to say welcome to all of you. Are you ready? Please be ready. Set up your study space. We're going to learn together with this session. Hurry up and be ready. At the end of the session, you should be able to say and write the time according to the clock face. And you should be able to answer Google Form quiz supplied by the teacher. Alright, without further ado, let's begin. Do you still remember the hour hand and minute hand? Hour hand and minute hand. The hour hand is the short hand on the clock face. As shown here, the blue color hand on the clock face is called hour hand. And the red color hand, which is longer one, is called minute hand. Hour hand and minute hand. Now, let's look at the shaded portion on the clock face. Now we have the shaded portion on the clock face as shown here, quarter. So we can say the duration on the clock face now is quarter of an hour. Quarter of an hour. Next, look at the shaded portion on this clock face. The minute hand has moved from number 3 to number 6. Now we have the shaded portion half of the clock face. Now we can see the duration on this clock face is half of an hour. Half of an hour. Next, the minute hand has moved to number 9 and we have here the shaded portion on the clock face 3/4. So we can say the duration on this clock face is 3/4 of an hour. 3/4 of an hour. Now, let's learn to tell time according to both of hour and minutes hand. We're going to tell time according to both of hour and minute hands. Look at this clock face. Can you tell what time is this? What time is this? Alright, the minute hand is pointing to number 12. Minute hand is pointing sharply to number 12. And the hour hand is pointing sharply to number 3. Hour hand points to number 3. This is what we call 3 o'clock. The time for this clock face is 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. Now, let's look at this clock face. We have here the minute hand pointing sharply to number 12. And we have here hour hand pointing sharply to number 5. Minute hand points to number 12 and hour hand points to number 5. So, can you tell what time on this clock face? Alright, this clock face is showing the time of 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. Next. How about this one? Can you tell what time is this? It's 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. As the hour hand is pointing sharply to number 8 and the minute hand is pointing sharply to number 12. Next, what time is this? It's 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. As the hour hand is pointing sharply to number 1 and the minute hand is pointing sharply to number 12. This is what we call 1 o'clock. So we're done with the easy part of the clock face. Now let's learn telling time with the help of the shaded portion on the clock face. We're going to relate the shaded portion on the clock face and the minute and hour hands. First, let's look at the minute hand. Now, the minute hand is pointing to number 3. Minute hand is pointing to number 3. Hour hand point past from number 1. The hour hand is now pointing a bit past from number 1. Usually, we will say this as 1:15 o'clock. 1:15 o'clock. But do you know we can also say like this? As we have the shaded portion quarter, so we can say quarter past 1 o'clock. Quarter past 1 o'clock. Now, how about this one? Minute hand has moved to number 6. Minute hand is pointing to number 6. And the hour hand point past from number 1. Hour hand points past from number 1. Usually, we will say the time for this clock face as 1:30 o'clock. 1:30 o'clock. But we can also say half past 1 o'clock, as we have the shaded portion on this clock face, half of the clock face. So we can say half past 1 o'clock because the minute hand has moved half from the clock face. Additional fact. Let's look at this clock face. Now, the minute hand pointing to number 9. The minute hand is pointing to number 9. Our hand point past from number 1 and almost pointing to number 2. Our hand is almost pointing to number 2. So, the clue is you need to look at the shaded portion on the clock face. In this case, look at the shaded portion on the clock face. The shaded portion is showing quarter. Usually, we will say this as 1:45 o'clock. 1:45 o'clock. But do you know we can also say like this? Quarter to 2 o'clock. Quarter to 2 o'clock. As the minute hand is pointing to number 9 and it's almost to 2 o'clock. So we can say quarter to 2 o'clock. Alright, for today's task, you need to answer the quiz by the link supplied by your teacher. Please submit this task before 5 p.m. today. Please answer the quiz by the link supplied by your teacher. Please submit this task before 5 p.m. today. Alright, that's all for today. Thank you. See you next time. Oh, don't forget to log into your Google Classroom for further information. Log into your Google Classroom for further information. Alright, see you next time. Goodbye.